Coming up tonight, former President Donald Trump expects to be arrested sometime tomorrow. What he's hoping supporters will do in response. And baby food giant Gerber recalls its formula because of a possible bacteria contamination. What you need to know.
Then the Biden administration is providing additional funding to Ukraine. What exactly is included in the $350 million of funding? Plus, a look at your Plattsburgh weather, entertainment, and sports. Tonight on PS News. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jody Juliana Powell.
And I'm Benny Nazai. Here's our top story tonight. Former President Donald Trump says he expects to be indicted tomorrow and calls on his supporters to protest. Trump made the statement in a social media post Saturday morning. In it, he says of himself the, quote, leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Trump goes on to urge his social media followers to, quote, protest and take our nation back. Manhattan prosecutors had previously invited the former president to testify as part of the investigation into a hush money scheme involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels. At issue is a $130,000 payment made to Daniels and a Trump Organization reimbursement to then-Trump personal attorney Michael Cohen. Trump has denied an alleged affair with Daniels, and in recent days, the former president's legal team has been preparing for how Trump would arrive in Manhattan to answer possible questions. Some Trump advisors have previously urged him to not call for protests on his behalf, which they fear could bear resemblance to the January 6th Capitol attack. For the past week, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies in New York have been meeting to plan for a possible Trump indictment.
The U.S. is sending Ukraine an additional $350 million in military assistance. The Biden administration announced this afternoon the funding will include anti-radiation missiles, anti-tank weapons, grenade launchers, fuel tankers, riverine boats, and ammunition for vehicles and rockets.
Switching gears to health, as the maker of a popular powdered infant formula is voluntarily recalling one of its products. Perrigo Company makes Gerber's Good Start infant formula and announced on Friday that it is recalling some of its Gerber Good Start Soothie Pro powdered infant formula because it may be contaminated with bacteria. The formula was made between January 2nd and January 18th of this year. The company says so far no products have been shown any signs of bacteria contamination and no one has become sick. However, Perrigo opted for the recall out of an abundance of caution. Customers with the product should toss it out and they can ask the company for a refund.
Online retail giant Amazon is laying off more employees. In a memo to staff on Monday, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said 9,000 jobs will be cut. That's on top of the 18,000 they already cut earlier this year. Jassy said the fresh round of job cuts will take place in coming weeks. And those working in the company's web services, people experience, and technology solution, advertising, and Twitch will be affected. Like many tech companies who grew during the COVID-19 pandemic, the e-commerce giant is doing major cost cutting. Just last week, Facebook parent company Meta said it was laying off an additional 10,000 workers, and that's on top of the 11,000 announced late last year.
South Korea's military says North Korea conducted another missile launch on Sunday, this time a short-range ballistic missile. Japan's defense ministry says it reached an altitude of about 31 miles and flew nearly 500 miles before landing in the sea between Japan and the Korean peninsula. This follows multiple recent tests by Pyongyang, including an intercontinental ballistic missile launch last Thursday. The tests coincide with ongoing military exercises between the U.S. and South Korea.
Chinese leader Xi Jinping is in Russia for a state visit with President Vladimir Putin. It's his first time in Moscow since Russia invaded Ukraine more than a year ago. China is calling the trip, quote, a journey of friendship, cooperation, and peace. The last day of the visit appears to be emphasizing that Xi calling Putin his, quote, dear friend, and Putin praising China's advances. The Kremlin says that the two want to strengthen relations and discuss the war in Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken doesn't appear to be buying that, quote, peace is a goal of the visit. He points out that the trip is happening days after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Putin. The U.S. is watching for any signs that China could provide military aid to Russia. After the break, we'll have a look at your Plattsburgh weather and entertainment news. Stay with us.
This is KINKS, which stands for Collectively Inspiring Natural Hair Students. We like to promote people to embrace their natural hair and just love who they are. Every spring semester we have a hair show, so if you're interested in modeling, hairstylist, and a makeup artist, this is something to look forward to every spring.
Are you a criminal justice major? Do you like true crime? If so, SUNY Plattsburgh's Criminal Justice Club is the place for you. The club regularly plans outings and events, like a recent trip to the Clinton County Correctional Facility, and also brings in guest speakers. Criminal Justice Club meets every Tuesday in Meeting Room 4 in Red K Hall at 7 p.m. and is open to all majors. To stay up to date, follow at Plattsburgh CJ Club on Instagram. Hope to see you there.
Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Jorge Cabrera, and here's a look at your Plattsburgh weather. Today, we have Owl's Head, 36 degrees, Vermontville, 36 degrees, All Sable Forks, 41 degrees, 38 degrees in Demora, here in our hometown, Plattsburgh, 43 degrees. We walk over to St. Albans Cities, 41 degrees, Williston, 44 degrees. Allegedly, spring is here, folks, but I don't see any sign of it. Now, on to our 5-day forecast. Tuesday, 42 degrees, slightly cloudy. Wednesday, 41 degrees. Thursday, we're finally in the 50s, but we got clouds and rains, folks. On Friday, we have 40 degrees with clouds. Saturday, the rain is coming back with 40 degrees. That's all I have for you with weather. Back to the desk with Benny and Jody.
Thanks, Jorge. Yeah, it's really nice to see some of that warm weather come back, don't you think?
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, spring is here. That's right, Monday is the vernal equinox, marking the first day of spring. Days start to get longer and temps start to get warmer, and trees and flowers start to bloom. Here's a brief astronomy lesson. On the spring equinox, the world sees roughly equal periods of day and night. Seasons arise because the Earth tilts as it revolves around the sun, bringing half the planet closer to its warmth. Right now, it's the North's turn for longer, warmer days, while it's getting colder south of the equator. For people in much of the South America and southern part of Africa, Monday is the fall equinox.
To a lot of us, buying eggs these days feels a lot like buying golden eggs. In fact, they've gotten so expensive that Dollar Tree can't afford to sell them anymore. The discount chain sells more products for $1.25 and a small selection of items for $3 or $5. The company used to sell cartons of 8 or 6 eggs for $1.25. Short supply and high production costs are partly to blame for the sky-high egg prices. But producers are also using those factors to justify maximizing their profits. The company says that it will bring back eggs when costs come down. Now let's take a look at what's going on in the entertainment world. With your PS Entertainment Update, here's Cole.
Thank you very much, Jody. Now, actor Lance Reddick, known for his roles on The Wire and in the John Wick franchise, has unfortunately died. Reddick was 60 years old. Reddick grew up in Baltimore, wanting to be a musician. He once told The Guardian that he fell into acting as a way to support his family. At the age of 29, he started studying drama at Yale University and eventually graduated. Reddick was a regular on the HBO series Oz before landing the role of Detective Daniels on The Wire. He is in the fourth John Wick film, which is set to be released in theaters next weekend. He is also in the upcoming remake of White Men Can't Jump. A representative says Reddick died suddenly Friday morning from natural causes. He is survived by his wife, Stephanie, and 2 children. A little over 25 years since the original, a beloved Nickelodeon film is set for a sequel. Variety reports Good Burger 2 will begin production in May, with a planned release on streaming platform Paramount Plus later this year. In a statement, one of the original stars, Kenan Thompson, calls working on a sequel surreal. Good Burger began as a sketch on a Nickelodeon series before it spun off into the 1997 film. It found box office success and became a cult favorite. Thompson of SNL fame and fellow movie co-star Kel Mitchell have both over the years spoken of a possible Good Burger follow-up. Comedian Adam Sandler was awarded the 2023 Mark Twain Prize for American Humor Sunday. The event was held at the Kennedy Center Concert Hall in Washington, D.C. It was a star-studded evening with celebrities including Jennifer Aniston, Conan O'Brien, and Chris Rock in attendance. Kennedy Center President Deborah F. Rutter earlier called Sandler a remarkable artist. Previous honorees include Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tina Fey, Eddie Murphy, and Dave Chappelle. The award ceremony will exclusively air on CNN on March 26th. That's all for entertainment tonight. I'm Cole Kajagian. Just ahead, a look at the wide world of sports with Ryan Nista. Stay with us.
Club International has been of great help to me as an international student because it has allowed me to be introduced to new people from different cultures. Representation matters and we know how to show it right. Because at every festival, we make sure not only to include representation of one, but that of many different countries. And that is why I am proud to be a part of Club International.
Club International!
Update, I'm Ryan Nista. Welcome back. With your PS Sports Update, I'm Ryan Nista. Number 2 women's ice hockey falls 3-2 to number 1 Gustavus Adolphus in double overtime in NCAA tournament semifinals. Despite graduate student goaltender Ashley Davis making 44 saves, the Cardinals were unable to survive the double overtime thriller on Friday afternoon at Amherst College. Davis's 44 saves are tied for the second most in a single game in program history, as Sydney Avison also made 44 stops on January 28, 2012 at Elmira College. Gustavus Adolphus scored the game winner at the 6:41 mark of the second overtime period. Junior defenseman Sophia Koltvedt would be the hero who scored for the Gusties. Plattsburgh State finishes its season at 26-3 overall, having made its 10th consecutive appearance in the NCAA tournament semifinals. Gustavus Adolphus rose to 26-3 overall and would win the national championship the following day, beating Massachusetts Amherst 2-1 in triple overtime. Moving from the ice to the turf, senior midfielder Lindsay Guzetta would set career program records in goals and draw controls in the Plattsburgh State women's lacrosse team's 18-5 loss to Union College. Guzetta finished with a goal and 6 draw controls to set the program mark in both. Her 59 goals eclipsed the former mark of 58 set by Emily Caioli, while her 89 draw controls bettered the former record of 88 set by Frankie Porcaro. Plattsburgh State drops to 3-2 overall with the loss and opens up SUNYAC play on Saturday, March 25th when they host the Buffalo State Bengals. The Plattsburgh State men's lacrosse team fell 16-4 to Harvard College in non-conference action on Saturday afternoon. The Cardinals were 19 for 27 on clears and went 1 for 7 on extra man opportunities, in addition to holding Harvick scoreless on one chance with the extra man. Plattsburgh State falls to 2-4 overall with the loss and next hosts Clarkson University on Wednesday, March 22nd at 4 p.m. Down south in Myrtle Beach, both baseball and softball played a week of games as part of their annual spring break trip. Softball would play 6 games, going 4-2 over the trip. They defeated Keystone College 9-3, McDaniel College 4-2, University of Maine Farmington 16-3, and FDU Florham 10-2. Morgan Ormerod would go 1 for 1, solidifying an ERA of 2.1. Kristen Magiacomo would go 2-1, striking out 18, and Julia Galino went 1-0 and would strike out 14. On offense, Magiacomo leads the way with a batting average of .571, which includes 3 triples. Claire Palmer is just behind her with a .522 batting average, and Julia Galino is in third with an average of .458. Galino also leads the team in doubles with 3. Kristen Langdon, Kelsey Waite, and Kylie Persampier all remain with a batting average of .300 or higher. Plattsburgh softball will next face Skidmore College on March 29th in a non-conference doubleheader. Baseball started the week off with a few losses, and they wouldn't see their first win until Wednesday when junior third baseman Nick Sergel would hit his second game-winning walk-off homer to defeat Albertus Magnus 8-7. The Cards would go on to defeat Salem State 4-3 the following day and Worcester State 8-2 on Friday. The pitching staff held their own with a combined ERA of 4.84. Chris Santek went 1-1 as a starter and currently holds an ERA of 2.55. Sean Melamud would go 1-2 on the trip and currently leads the team in strikeouts with 23. Andrew Veet would have an impressive showing against Worcester State, where he would go 7 2/3 innings, which led to a total of 122 pitches. He kept the Knights to 2 runs and struck out 8. On offense, Kyle Kremen leads the pack with a .366 batting average and 2 doubles. Nick Sergel and Alex Kornblau are right behind him with an average of .324 and .316. Both Sergel and Kornblau are tied for home runs with 2. The Cards moved to 4-7 overall with a loss to New England College on Saturday and will next travel to Oneonta for a huge SUNYX series, with play beginning on Friday, March 24th at 3 p.m. With your PS Sports Update, I'm Ryan Nista. Now back to the desk with Benny and Jody.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, yeah, Myrtle Beach for the baseball team for spring break. That sounded like a lot of fun. How was your spring break?
It was pretty good. How was yours?
It was good as well. I went away for a little bit, but I will say that nor'easter was definitely not fun to deal with.
I didn't have that in the city, luckily.
Must be nice, but I will say nicer weather, like I said earlier, definitely on the come up, hopefully. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we've got for this edition of PS News. Thank you for joining us.
To stay up to date, follow us at Plattsburgh State TV on all social media platforms. I'm Jody Juliana Powell.
And I'm Benny Nazai. As always, thank you for joining us and have a great night, Plattsburgh.